Hello and welcome to Microsoft Hates Greg. My name is Greg Deckler, and today we're going to be talking about web scraping and Power BI. So this discussion actually came out of a discussion on Discord. So Pact, my publisher, runs a Discord server. Data Analytics, Engineering, and Finance is the server, and they've got several different book communities channels. I monitor like Power BI and Power Query to try to answer questions there. So if you have any of my books, I would advise, go ahead and join this web server or this Discord server, and you can ask questions in Power Query and Power BI. It's way less noisy than the Power BI community forums. And yes, that is me, Mickey Torpedo. That is Greg Deckler. That is my gamer tag name. So anyway, if you see Mickey Torpedo on those forums, those Discord servers, that's me. So this question came out of there, which basically the user was trying to collect information from this site using Power BI. So as you can see here, I can hit enter on this site and I can refresh this site, no problem. It's got a bunch of data and stuff here, all of that sort of thing. But when I try to do this in Power BI, and I'll bring up Power BI here, and let's go ahead and say new source, we'll say web. Go ahead and click on this. And it says we encounter an error while trying to connect. Details access to the resource is forbidden. And I also tried doing this via Python within Power BI. I just added a Python query, essentially, tried to do the same, got the same result. So this is kind of the first time I really run into this issue. It was kind of interesting to me. So I decided to do some digging on it. And I happened across this website. Well, let me get this out of the way, people, so that, well, we'll get this. There we go. How JavaScript is used to block web scrapers in that guide. Now, I don't know if this is how they're preventing it, but this website has obviously employed some kind of anti-bot, anti-web scraping technology that is thwarting Power BI. And so basically, if you go down through this, they have some leak detection tools. So I went to those websites, like Sanisoft here, and I went through and I looked at all of this different information that is collected and tried to go through. I'm going to try not to dox myself because I think some of these, my IP address shows up that I don't know if they can do anything with that information, but try to be on the safe side here. So I went through this. I went through this site here, results of FP Scanner, as well as this one here, and it has a bunch of information up top, which I think this is the one that has the IP address, which I probably just exposed, but device information and all of that. So I went ahead and tried to connect to these sites via Power BI to see if I could notice any differences. This one seemed like it came out the same, pretty much. This is just the HTML. This is just the results text. This is the HTML. But I could actually, if I do this, yeah, that's okay. Home, advanced, maybe. Oh no, web browser contents. So let's try to connect to this one again. New source, web. Okay. So, this displayed text and stuff like this, and it seemed like it came through okay, from what I could tell. But the interesting one was this one right here. Let's go ahead and connect to this one. You can see here, it's got some information up above here, right? And then it's got this device information. So basically 2 tables of data. And so if I go ahead and get into Power BI and do new source, web, it seemed like all the attributes were coming through fine for most of the data, but I did notice something. And again, I don't know what JavaScript library or if they're using JavaScript to do this or how they're doing this. The table 1 came out basically the same, but table 2, you can see is blank, right? So this table 2 is supposed to be this one right here, attribute value description, and there's no information. So basically what I can see is that like Power BI apparently is not passing along like device information. And maybe that is how it's like, oh, if the device information comes back blank, then it's a bot and we're not going to allow it on our website. I don't know exactly. It's again, this article is crazy in depth and goes into all sorts of detail about this, about how to identify web scrapers and things like that. But obviously, some kind of anti-scraping technology is going on, and Power BI is apparently its web tools aren't smart enough to get around, whatever technology is being used to prevent web scraping. Because I never really thought about it before, but absolutely, Power BI is essentially is a web scraper. It's not, to the level of like a spider, which tries to go out and, collect this information all the time. But, it is you know, a device. It's a software program that's going out and accessing this data automatically without any user intervention, right? You set up automated refresh or scheduled refresh and you schedule it and stuff. So, I mean, it effectively is a bot to a certain degree. So that's it. So basically, if you run into that issue, you're running afoul of some kind of anti-web scraping technology. So there you have it. That's all I have for this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.